Okay, adventurers. So we're going to one of the most haunted places in the
Bachelor's
world.
Grove.
Bachelor's Grove! I love that are haunted.
Are you guys adventurers?
Yeah! I'm not afraid of no ghosts!
Are you guys scared?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I'm really
No.
scared.
Opposite of yes.
Okay. All right, cool. You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, so we're in the car. We're heading over to Bachelor's Grove, one of the most haunted places in the world, arguably the most haunted place in the Chicagoland area. And we don't live too far from there, so we're gonna head on over. Let's check it out, adventurers. Are you ready?
Yep.
You adventurers ready?
I am. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
When we park, we have to park here in Rubio Woods because there's no parking spot over there to go into Bachelor's Grove.
You ready, adventurers?
Yeah!
Okay, guys. Are you ready, Daniel?
Yeah. I'm not afraid of no ghosts!
So now when I was growing up around this area, there was an old folk legend that if you come here at night, you would see in the distance like a porch light and a house. And the closer you got to that porch light in that house, the further that house, it would keep on getting further. You would never actually get there. But here we are.
I saw a ghost.
Really? Tell me about it.
I saw like a white thing in the air.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Like, what did it look like?
It's like a circle with a body and arms floating.
Did you seriously see that? Did you see it? What did you see?
What?
Did you see a ghost?
No.
Okay.
I only saw the gravestones everywhere.
Yeah, this is a little cemetery. This is really old.
Yeah, it's really spooky too. And haunted. Little girl.
Yep. This looks like it was just a 1-year-old girl. I don't know if you can see that.
It is a 1-year-old girl. That's so long ago.
I believe that was the last person interred here. Must be Robert Shields, 1989. I gotta say that somebody cleaned this place up, because when the last time I came here, this place was there was just satanic graffiti and gang graffiti everywhere, and there was beer cans. I mean, there was tons of garbage. I mean, this is whoever cleaned this place up. They did a great job. But as you can see, a lot of these. A lot of the gravestones have been defaced and moved. There's a pond over here on the side. So in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, this whole area, Bachelor's Grove, was fairly secluded because one of the streets, the whole street, the Midlothian Turnpike, was closed to vehicular traffic. So this area was well known for like drinking parties, and it also was known as like a lover's lane. There used to be a street that's since destroyed that used to cut through the woods here, and it went from 135th Street to 143rd Street. But in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, even before that, this whole area, people would come and visit their loved ones, and they would have picnics. And then this pond here was known. People used to go fishing. There's nobody there. Obviously, it's in December, but. Yeah, people used to go fishing there. There also was the folk legends, you know, that spirits would lure people into the water, and there have been drownings, just a few in the last several decades. Fulton family was one of the major settler families here. Just a little bit of history, and I'm going to link in the description to the Tinley Park Historical Society's latest video, which actually was just a couple months ago. People put little like knickknacks and stuff and tributes like on the gravestones, and my kids are grabbing them. I made them put them back exactly where they found them. Hopefully we didn't disturb anything. So the Fulton family was one of the main families. I'm going to link in the description like some history and backstory. It was very thorough. It was so thorough I actually fell asleep listening to it. But I'll link it in the description. It's about an hour long. And the guy, I think his name is Brad. There's a dealership I can't named after him. I can't think of it. There is like a sort of a legend that a guy named Stephen Rexford, who was a pretty influential settler in this area, moved here with 4 other unmarried men, and it was called Bachelor's Grove. There's a bunch of different groves around here of woods called Cooper's Grove and a few others. And then there's a neighboring town called Oak Forest. So Bachelors, actually, the name really comes from a family, the old family that lived here called Batchelder. It was Batchelder, and it was called Bachelder's Grove. And then a little bit later it was called Bachelor's Grove with a T. And then I'll share an old photo that's actually in the Tinley Park Historical Society. It was an old Forest Preserve sign that says Bachelor's Grove Woods. So as you can see, there are some really old graves here. The first person that was interred here was, they're not sure, but it was somewhere in between 1838 and 1844.
What?
The first family to live and move into this area and settle it was, I think, in 1825. And then I think in the 1850s was when I think mostly German people were moving into this area. But yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. And whoever cleaned this place up really did a great job, because it was totally defaced the last time I came here, which was about 20 years ago. So it's pretty amazing. So this tombstone I'm sitting on is the famous tombstone that was shared in the Chicago Sun-Times, where I think the photographer's name was Jude Fells, and he came here. He took a photo of this this whole area, and on this tombstone was a ghostly image of a woman. I'll share that now. And this photo they believe was legitimate, and they actually put that in the newspaper. They do a lot of different tours. I don't know with COVID what's going on, but they do a lot of tours. So if you're in the area, this is called Bachelor's Grove. It's located in Midlothian, Illinois. It's about 20 miles south of Chicago. And it really, in the 60s and 70s, this was known as people doing satanic rituals. It was just, when I went here 20 years ago, there was trash everywhere. Everything was defaced. So whoever cleaned this place up did a great job. I gotta hand it to him. It looks great, very clean. Not a speck of trash on the way in here either.
Hi.
Did you see any ghosts?
No.
No? I didn't see any ghosts either.
I was looking for floating.
So you can see this is an old cemetery. There are some Civil War veterans buried here. All the original settlers from this area, from the early mid 1800s, they're all buried here. The main family to own all the land, the woods around this area, was Schmidt. And just to tell a spooky story, I think you'll get a kick out of this. In the late 1980s, I came here with my brother, Chris, my older brother. He's a few years older than me. We came here, and I remember around that time, me and my little buddies, we were all convinced we were psychic, you know? And so we were concentrating, walking around this cemetery. And I was thinking, trying to kind of communicate with somebody. And I told my brother, Schmidt. I kept thinking of the name Schmidt, Chris. And he's like, oh, that's whatever. I've never heard that name before. I don't know anybody, you know, maybe a couple kids at school. And years later, when I started looking into the history of this cemetery, I learned that the main family that was settled here and that actually owned most of the land later on, they got it from the land trust or whatever they called it back then, was the Schmidt family. And I'll share a picture of their house. Their house was in the woods, not far from the cemetery. Yeah, pretty neat little piece of history. But yeah, they all lived here. It was under control of the Fulton family of this cemetery. And I think in 1979, it was transferred to the Cook County Forest Preserve. And I think the Roman Catholic Church also, the diocese also has like a small stake in taking care of this area. Yeah, so just a little piece of history and a little spooky story. that really creeped me out when I was reading about the Schmidt family, and I just, you know, my blood went cold, and I remembered that story of telling my brother that. So. So adventurers, thanks for adventuring with us to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, located in Midlothian, Illinois, one of the most haunted places in the world, arguably the most haunted place in the Chicagoland area. So glad y'all joined us. Have a great weekend.
I was so scared. I was so scared when I saw the ghost. I was so scared. You guys heard me, right, when my dad was talking. I was so scared. It gave me the creeps. It gave me the goosebumps when I saw that ghost. It was like a white circle with a red, like with black or red eyes, with a body. and arms and exploding. That's scary, isn't it?
No, he's possessed. He's possessed by a ghost. No! Ah, the Bachelor's no ghost. No!